call them deviled eggs, but you got to start with older eggs because they peel better. And you need to set them out overnight so they get to room temperature. And then put them in a cold oven directly on the racks. Now, you might want to test this with 2 or 3 eggs if you've never done it in your oven, so you don't make a huge mess. Bake for 30 minutes at exactly 325 degrees. Here's the recipe. It's quite simple. I'm doing 24 eggs. I know it's a lot, but I like to do a lot at one time. Over the years, I've gotten this rubber Tupperware container and Rubbermaid container, which helps me hold the eggs. I take the rack straight out of the oven. They got little speckles on them from cooking. And I just dump it directly into the cold water. And then I start peeling. Well, first I put some paper towel in my little red container because I don't want the eggs to sit in too much water. And the paper towel will absorb the water. It's about the only thing I use paper towel for. And now you're going to get bored watching me peel eggs. But I learned something new this time. That if I use my thumb to break the egg all the way around and break it well, and then start to open the egg from the very blunt end of the egg, not the pointy end, that my eggshell would come off. I did one in 15 seconds. That's the fastest I've ever peeled an egg, and I've been peeling eggs for 40-something years. So, you learn, old dogs can learn new tricks. But start from the blunt point of the egg, and you get under that membrane. And once you get under that membrane, the egg's going to peel right away. And that makes it so easy when you don't have to be dreading peeling eggs or the smell of eggs. Boiling eggs, and when an egg cracks in the boiling water, the smell is all over the house. Well, they just don't smell bad. And I put all the eggs in my little container. And I skipped a couple of my, I didn't video all the eggs being peeled. But when I learned that little trick, I wanted to share it with you. So I've taken a lot of video of peeling eggs because people dread it. It's just one of those things and this is the first time in my entire life that I didn't have an egg get all yucky looking on the outside. Every one of them, dare I say, were perfect. Absolutely no gouges, nothing. And I have long fingernails. No gouges, no ugliness. They were perfect. And it comes from using older eggs. We bought these eggs 2 weeks ago, and I wouldn't let anybody use them. I just kept them in the refrigerator. And then just doing exactly what I said. Oven at 325. But you put the eggs in the oven first. You let them set out overnight to get room temperature. You can even let them get to room temperature in your oven overnight. And then all you have to do is the next morning, turn your oven on 325 for exactly 30 minutes. Set your timer. And while your timer's going, you can fill your sink up with cold water. And that's really all you have to do because the cold water stops the cooking process, which turns the eggs green. And I hate green yolks. I never read Dr. Seuss much, but green eggs and ham, I don't like green. So peel all your eggs and put them in your container, and then immediately put them in the refrigerator. And let them get cold. I set my timer for 2 hours so that I could get them out and process them. So I'm just going to keep peeling and talking and peeling and talking. Trying to do these the day of Thanksgiving is nerve-wracking. You've got so many other things going on trying to do these. And if you're trying to do Thanksgiving dinner all by yourself, then it makes it hard for you to do on Thanksgiving Day. So that's why I like to get them all processed and ready to go in my refrigerator, because we used to go visit somebody for Thanksgiving dinner, and my thing was to make the eggs. And if they're in a plastic container, I can take my serving dish. There's my last egg. I can take my serving dish with me. Don't forget to put your serving dish with your eggs when you get ready to leave, because you have a special dish you like. And I have a little white milk glass one that's trimmed in gold that was my grandmother's or my mother's. I don't know which. But here we go. They're all peeled. It didn't take any time at all. Now, the eggs are in my little plastic container, and they're going to go straight in the refrigerator. Now, it's been 2 hours. I've taken them out of the refrigerator. They look like little aliens. I just love them. That's where they've been sitting on the rack. And that's how pretty they look on the inside. Now, we're going to take the yolks out, and we're going to put the eggs back together and put them into the container. Now, I've removed the wet paper towel because it's absorbed all the moisture. And I just want them. Here's the recipe for my stuffing, my filling for my eggs. I don't know why it's doing that, but hey, that's not good. Oh well, it's not perfect. I don't know how it did that. So I'm mashing I put the whites back in the refrigerator, and I've got this little pastry blender that's real old that I use to mash the eggs up. But you can use a fork. A fork works well too. And I'm going to have I use mayonnaise, pickle relish, mustard, and sugar in my filling for my eggs. Now, in the South, we like to put paprika on top. In Maryland, they like to put Old Bay on top of their eggs. It's whatever you like to garnish your eggs with. Some people like to put an olive on their eggs, or a little slice of something. But you know how you want them garnished, what your tradition is. But for me, I just want a little bit of a sprinkle of paprika. And I'm not going to do that until I'm getting ready to set them on the table. Set them on the table. I'll correct myself. Here we go. So I added a cup of mayonnaise. I like real mayonnaise. I started with a half a cup, but that wasn't enough. I never actually measured anything out before. A quarter cup of pickle relish. A tablespoon of yellow mustard. And 2 tablespoons of sugar. I put 1 tablespoon in, and I had to use my taste buds to figure out if it was the way I like it. Now, here's the secret to everything. Fold the top down on a Ziploc bag. I am using a gallon Ziploc bag because I don't think my filling will fit in a quart Ziploc bag. And start filling the bag with the filling. And get it all in there. And that your filling can be lumpy because guess what? The pickle relish makes it lumpy. So the lumps don't show. If you want to get real perfectionist about it, you can use immersion blender or put them in your food processor. But I find I lose too much filling for that. So I don't like to do that. I don't mind if they're lumpy. It is what it is. So, get all your filling in the bag and roll the bag up to get all the air out. And then you're going to put it in the refrigerator. It's only been out for a little bit. My refrigerator is really cold, so I'm going to leave it on top of the egg so I don't forget them in my refrigerator. And our eggs will be done. Now, when I get to my destination, which is next door, I'm going to cut the corner off of the bag, and then I'm going to squeeze it into the eggs. Now, be sure and take your tray you're going to serve them on. And there you have it. Angeled eggs, the Fly Lady way.